The stars shone like distant jewels against the black canvas of space. Captain Alan Wright rubbed his tired eyes and leaned back in his command chair aboard the UEF Horizon. The ship had been mapping the outer edges of our solar system for 3 weeks now. Most of the crew was bored. Space exploration meant long periods of nothing much happening. That was about to change. "Captain, I'm picking up something strange," called out Susan Carter from her science station. Her fingers moved quickly across the glowing screen. Wright sat up straight. "What kind of strange, Lieutenant?" "A signal, sir. Not one of ours. And well, it looks like a cry for help." The bridge grew quiet. In the 30 years since humans had started deep space exploration, they had found no signs of intelligent alien life. Until now. "Show me," Wright ordered. The main screen lit up with waves of light pulses. They repeated in a clear pattern that couldn't be natural. "Where's it coming from?" Frank Miller, the ship's pilot, checked his navigation screens. "About 500,000 miles from here, sir, just beyond Pluto's orbit." "Take us there. Full speed." The engines hummed louder as the horizon changed course. Wright pressed a button on his chair. "This is the captain speaking. All hands to alert stations. We may have made first contact." Throughout the ship, men and women stopped what they were doing. Some looked at each other with wide eyes. Others rushed to their posts. No one had expected this day to come during their mission. 6 hours later, the horizon slowed as it approached. The source of the signal. What they saw made even the calmest crew members gasp. "My God," whispered Wright. Floating in space before them was not one ship, but thousands. They filled the view screen and stretched beyond in all directions. The vessels were clearly alien, their shapes unlike anything humans had built. Some were as small as cars. Others were massive, bigger than the largest cities on Earth. Their surfaces glittered with strange metals and crystals, and they were all dark. No lights, no movement, just the faint pulse of the distress signal. "Scan them," Wright ordered. Susan worked her instruments, her face growing more amazed by the second. "Sir, I'm detecting life signs. Millions of them. But the ships are running, on emergency power only. Their main systems are dead. How many ships are we looking at?" "I count 3,286 vessels of different sizes," said Miller, his voice filled with awe. "It's an entire fleet, or more like an evacuation. There are millions of beings out there." Wright took a deep breath. This was far beyond anything he had trained for. "Diane, open a channel, all frequencies. Let's see if they can hear us." Communications. Officer Diane Powell nodded. "Channel open, sir." Wright stood up straight. He knew his words might be the first human speech these aliens would ever hear. "This is Captain Alan Wright of the United Earth Federation ship Horizon. We have received your distress call and are here to help. Please respond if you can hear me." They waited. 1 minute, 2 minutes. The bridge crew held their breath. Then the screen flickered. A figure appeared that made several crew members step back in shock. The alien was unlike anything from Earth. Its body had multiple sections that shimmered with colors that shifted like oil on water. It had 6 limbs and 3 pairs of eyes stacked vertically on what seemed to be a head. When it moved, it flowed like water. "We receive your message." The voice was strange but understandable. "Thank you for answering our call." Wright stepped closer to the screen. "I am Captain Wright. Who am I speaking with?" The alien's body changed colors again. "I am Supreme Commander Veritix of the Galactic Concordat Armada. Our fleet suffered great damage while traveling. All power systems failed. We cannot move or repair. How many people are on your ships, Commander?" 8,400,000, 16 beings. Many are in sleep pods to save oxygen and food. The alien's voice became clearer as its translation system adjusted to English. "Our emergency power will fail in 14 of your Earth days. After that, all will die." A heavy silence fell over the bridge. The Horizon was just a research ship with a crew of 120. Earth was still recovering from the worldwide floods and fires of the climate wars. Humanity had only recently united under one government. Commander Veritix, Wright said after a moment, "I won't lie to you. We don't have the resources here to save so many. But I promise you this, we will contact Earth immediately and do everything in our power to help." The alien made a movement that might have been surprise. "Your scans show that your species is young. You have not yet mastered fast space travel between stars. You cannot help us." Wright smiled slightly. "With respect, Commander, you don't know humans very well yet. We're stubborn when faced with impossible problems." He turned to his communications officer. "Diane, send an emergency message to Earth. Include all our scans in this conversation. Tell them we have 8 million lives at stake and 14 days to save them." "Yes, sir," she replied, already typing the message. "Frank, move us closer to their command ship, but keep a safe distance." As the crew carried out his orders, Wright studied the alien commander on the screen. "While we wait for Earth's response, perhaps you can tell me what happened to your fleet and why so many ships were traveling together." Commander Veritix's colors darkened. "We were moving our people to new homeworlds. Our star system was dying. During the journey through what you might call a shortcut in space, we encountered an energy storm. It damaged all our power systems at once." "A shortcut in space?" asked Susan from her science station. "You mean like a wormhole?" "More advanced," replied Veritix. "We can fold space to travel great distances. But now that technology is useless to us." Wright nodded slowly, trying to grasp what he was hearing. Technology that could fold space was far beyond what humans had even dreamed of building. "Commander, with your permission, I'd like to send some of my engineers to one of your smaller ships. If we can understand your power systems better, we might find a way to help." Veritix seemed to consider this. "I will allow it, but be warned. Our technology is very different from yours. Your people may not understand it." "We have to try," Wright said simply. Within an hour, a team of human engineers in spacesuits entered one of the smaller alien vessels. They sent back images of technology so advanced it seemed like magic, glowing crystals instead of wires, controls that responded to thought, engines that apparently bent the laws of physics. Back on the horizon, Wright received a response from Earth. The message was simple. "All resources being mobilized. Hold position. Help is coming." Wright looked out at the thousands of dark ships floating in the void, 8 million lives hanging by a thread. He turned to his first officer. "Well, John, it looks like humanity is about to show the galaxy what we're made of." Neither of them could have guessed how their next actions would change the course of human history forever, or how these advanced beings would soon learn that sometimes the most powerful force in the universe isn't technology, it's the human spirit. General Maria Ramirez walked with quick steps into the big meeting room at the United Earth Federation headquarters. Her face was serious. Around a large round table sat 20 of Earth's most important leaders and smartest scientists. On the wall, a huge screen showed thousands of alien ships floating in space. "We have 12 days, she said without saying hello. 12 days to save 8 million aliens who are stuck without power near Pluto." The room was quiet. Everyone had seen the emergency messages from the UEF horizon. Everyone knew what was at stake. "Is this some kind of joke?" asked a man in a business suit. "We can barely keep our own space stations running. How are we supposed to save millions of aliens?" Ramirez looked at him with hard eyes. "This is not a joke, Mr. Peterson. And we will help them because that's what humans do. We help others in need." She turned to the group. "I need ideas, real ideas, not reasons why we can't do this." Dr. Kevin Young stood up. He was head of the Global Energy Project and the smartest person in the room. "I've looked at the scans from the horizon. These aliens, the Concordat, have amazing technology. They can bend space. They can control gravity. But their power systems are completely different from ours. We can't just plug them in and recharge them." "Can't they fix their own ships?" asked Patricia Jones, who represented Asia on the council. Admiral Henry Jackson shook his head. According to their commander, all their power systems were damaged at the same time by something they call a space storm. They know how to fix them, but they have no power to start the repairs. It's like having a car with a dead battery in The middle of nowhere. And we have no jumper cables big enough, said Dr. Young. The room fell silent again. The problem seemed impossible. Then a young man with messy hair and a wrinkled shirt stood up. It was Kyle Richards, the engineer who had designed the new power stations that helped Earth recover after the climate wars. What if we don't need to power all their ships at once, he asked. What if we just need to save the people? Everyone turned to look at him. Go on, said Ramirez. We don't have to fix their ships in 12 days. We just need to get 8 million aliens off those ships before they run out of air and heat. Dr. Young frowned. And put them where? We don't have space for 8 million extra people on Earth. Kyle smiled. Not on Earth? In space. We have mining stations on the Moon and Mars. We have space habitats around Earth. We have ships. If everyone helps, we can build temporary homes for them throughout our solar system. That's still not enough space, someone argued. Then we build more. Kyle said simply. We have shipyards. We have factories. If we work together, we can do this. Ramirez nodded slowly. How quickly can we start? Right now, Kyle said. Within hours, the largest rescue mission in human history began. Every country, every company, every person with skills to offer joined the effort. Mining operations on the Moon and Mars sent their ships to help. Plants around the world worked overtime to build emergency living pods. Scientists studied the alien biology to make sure the pods would keep them alive. The plan was bold. Build huge temporary homes throughout the solar system and move the aliens before their ships lost all power. On the 6th day, the first human rescue ships reached the alien fleet. Captain Wright, still on the horizon, watched as human vessels approached the massive alien ships. Most of the human ships were simple cargo vessels or mining ships that had been quickly changed to carry passengers. Commander Verotic stood next to Wright on the bridge of the horizon. The alien had come aboard to help coordinate the rescue. Your ships are so basic, said Veritix, watching the human rescue fleet. In the Concordat, worlds with your level of technology would be considered too primitive to even talk to, let alone help. Sometimes simple works best, Wright replied with a small smile. Why are you doing this? Veritix asked. You risk much for strangers who have nothing to offer you in return. Wright looked at the alien with surprise. Because you need help. That's enough reason for us. Outside, human ships began the dangerous work of connecting to the alien vessels. Teams of engineers in spacesuits floated between the ships, attaching power cables and setting up equipment to move the aliens. The first aliens to be rescued were the children and the sick. Human doctors had worked day and night to understand alien biology. They had built special medical pods that could keep different alien species alive during transport. As the first alien children boarded a human ship, Wright received an urgent message from Earth. Kyle Richards and his team had found a way to temporarily restart the power systems on the smaller alien ships using special solar collectors. The idea wasn't pretty. It meant physically connecting hundreds of human ships to each alien vessel to channel power. But it might work. We can try it on one of the smaller ships first, Wright told Veritix. If it works, we can save more of your fleet. The alien commander's colors changed to what Wright had learned meant surprise. You continue to amaze me, Captain. Your people think in ways we do not. Back on Earth, the work continued nonstop. Factories that normally took months to make a ship were building them in days. Scientists who had been rivals now worked together without sleep. Countries that had fought during the climate wars now shared their resources. Old space stations were quickly changed into homes for the aliens. The moon bases expanded to make room. Mars, with its small human colonies, prepared to host thousands of alien visitors. Some humans were scared. News channels showed people protesting against helping dangerous aliens. But most humans understood what was at stake. This wasn't just about saving alien lives, it was about showing what humanity stood for. 10 days after the Horizon found the stranded fleet, over 1 million aliens had been moved to safety. The emergency power transfer system was working on the smaller ships, allowing some of the aliens to begin repairs on their own vessels. In her office on Earth, General Ramirez looked at the latest reports with tired eyes. She hadn't slept properly in days. The rescue was working, but they were running out of time. 4 million aliens were still on ships that would soon lose all power. Her screen beeped. It was a message from Kyle Richards. "We found a way to speed up the process," his tired face said from the screen. "We're going to use the power cores from our older fusion plants. If we link them together, we can jumpstart the power systems on the biggest alien ships." "Is it safe?" Ramirez asked. Kyle smiled weakly. "Not really, but it's our best shot." Ramirez nodded. "Do it." As human engineers prepared to attempt their most dangerous rescue effort yet, none of them knew that news of their actions had already reached the wider galaxy, and that the leaders of the mighty Concordat were watching with growing alarm. What humans saw as a simple rescue mission was about to change humanity's place among the stars forever. Grand Admiral Zorelix sat in his command chair on the biggest ship in the Concordat fleet. His 6 eyes blinked one after another as he stared at the report on his screen. The colors of his skin had turned a deep blue, which his officers knew meant he was very upset. "This cannot be right," he said, his voice low and dangerous. "Check it again." The officer standing before him, a tall, crystal-like being called an Axtari, bowed slightly. "We have checked 3 times, Grand Admiral. The report is correct. The humans have rescued most of our 7th Fleet. They have saved over 6 million of our people so far." "Impossible," said another Concordat leader. "They are a level 2 civilization at best. They have only basic space travel. They cannot have the resources or technology for such a rescue." "And yet they have done it," said the Axtari officer. "What's more, they have done it without asking for anything in return." Grand Admiral Zorelix stood up. He was twice as tall as a human, with a body that glowed faintly in the dim light of the command center. For thousands of years, the Concordat had ruled this part of the galaxy. They had strict rules about contact with younger species. Normally, a planet like Earth would be watched from a distance but left alone until they developed better technology. Now, these humans had changed everything. "Show me," ordered Zorelix. The main screen lit up with images sent from the stranded fleet. The Admiral watched as small, simple human ships moved between the massive Concordat vessels. He saw humans in basic spacesuits helping aliens 10 times their size. He saw makeshift power cables connecting human ships to Concordat cruisers. "They are using their fusion power plants to jumpstart our ships," explained the officer. "It's crude but effective. They have also built temporary homes for our people throughout their solar system." "How did they learn our biology so quickly?" asked another council member. "How are they keeping our people alive?" "That's the most surprising part," said the officer. They simply asked our people what they needed, then built it. They're very adaptable." Zorelix had heard. "Enough. Send a diplomatic ship to this Earth immediately. I want to know more about these humans." Meanwhile, back in the human solar system, the rescue operation continued day and night. Earth had become home to thousands of alien diplomats and scientists. Mars now had more alien residents than human ones. Giant habitats circled Jupiter and Saturn, filled with Concordat refugees. The sharing of knowledge was happening so fast that human scientists could barely keep up. Alien technology that had taken other species centuries to develop was being given freely to humans in exchange for their help. In the newly built Concordat embassy in Geneva, Ambassador Ray Howard met with Commander Veritix, who now had a new title, Special Envoy to Earth. Howard smiled as he entered the special room built to match Concordat environments. It was warmer and had different air than humans normally breathed, so he wore a light breathing mask. "Your engineers have approved our plan for the largest ships," Howard said, showing Veritix a tablet with diagrams. "We'll help rebuild the main power cores first, so you can start moving your people back to your home systems." Veritix's body shifted colors, and what Howard had learned was a sign of respect. "In just 3 months, your people have learned things that took my species hundreds of years to discover. Your ability to solve problems is unusual." Howard shrugged. "When people need help, we find a way to give it. That's all." "That way of thinking is not common in the galaxy, Ambassador." Veritix's voice grew quieter. "I must tell you something. Important. Not everyone in the Concordat is happy about what has happened here. What do you mean? We saved your people. Yes, and that is the problem. Your species has shown abilities that worry some of our leaders. You learn too quickly. You take too many risks. You don't follow the normal patterns of development. Howard frowned. Because we helped without thinking about what we would get in return? Exactly. In the Concordat, all species are put into categories based on their technology and behavior. Species like yours that learn fast but don't always follow rules have often been kept separate. Kept separate? Howard's voice hardened. You mean kept away from the rest of the galaxy? For the greater peace, Veratix admitted. But those of us who have seen what humans can do are fighting for a new approach. Your kind of thinking may be exactly what the Concordat needs right now. As they talked, neither knew how quickly their words would be tested. Far away at the edge of the solar system where the rescue had begun, sensors on the UEF horizon picked up new energy readings. Something was appearing in space near the remaining alien ships. Captain Wright, still commanding the horizon after all these months, watched as his screen showed strange ripples in space. Then suddenly, ships began to appear. They were not the damaged ships of the 7th Fleet. These were warships with weapons ready. They're Concordat ships, said Susan Carter from her science station. But not like the ones we've been helping. These look like military vessels. Wright immediately opened a communication channel to Earth. General Ramirez, we have a situation here. More Concordat ships have arrived and they don't look friendly. I think some members of the Concordat have decided we're too unpredictable to leave alone. On Earth, General Ramirez looked at the incoming message with alarm. She had been afraid this might happen. The rescued aliens had told her that not all Concordat species were happy about humans joining the galactic community. Captain, don't engage, she ordered. Keep your distance but stay in the area. I'm sending reinforcements. What kind of reinforcements? Asked Wright. We don't have anything that can match those ships. Ramirez smiled grimly. You'd be surprised. What we've learned in the past 3 months, Captain. All across the solar system, alarm signals sounded, but humans didn't panic. Instead, they did what they had been doing since the rescue began. They worked together. The first human ships to reach the horizon weren't military vessels. They were the same cargo ships, mining vessels, and science craft that had been helping with the rescue. But now they carried something new, technology built with Concordat knowledge freely given by the grateful refugees. As the human ships formed a protective ring around the remaining damaged Concordat vessels, Captain Wright received another message. This one was from Admiral Jackson. Hold position, Horizon. The UEF Defender is on its way. Minutes later, space itself seemed to bend. A flash of light blinded sensors temporarily. When it cleared, a new ship had appeared. It was Earth's first attempt at a ship using Concordat technology. It wasn't pretty, a mix of human and alien design that broke many engineering rules. But it worked. The ship was called the UEF Defender, and it carried a message for the Concordat warships that no one in the galaxy had expected. Humanity would not be contained. The Concordat warships appeared in space with their weapons ready to fire. They expected to find a weak, primitive civilization they could easily scare. Instead, they found themselves surrounded by hundreds of human ships. Commander Zaltis stood on the bridge of the lead Concordat warship. He was tall and thin, with skin that looked like metal and forearms that moved quickly over the ship's controls. These humans are more organized than we expected, he said to his officers. But their ships are still primitive. This will not take long. What Zalthus didn't know was that humans had spent the last 3 months not just helping the stranded aliens, but learning from them. Earth scientists had studied Concordat technology and found new ways to combine it with human ideas. They had built things that should have taken centuries to develop. General Maria Ramirez stood on the bridge of the UEF Defender, Earth's first ship that could bend space to travel. It wasn't pretty by Concordat standards. It looked like a mix of human and alien parts stuck together, but it worked. All ships in position, reported Admiral Jackson through the communication screen. The refugee ships are behind us, protected. Ramirez nodded. Open a channel to the Concordat fleet. When the channel opened, she spoke clearly and without fear. Attention Concordat vessels. This is General Maria Ramirez of the United Earth Federation. You have entered our system without permission. Power down your weapons immediately. The response came quickly. The face of Commander Zalthus appeared on her screen, his expression showing surprise when he saw a human. This is Enforcement Commander Zalthus. Your species is unknown to our records and potentially dangerous to galactic peace. We are here to establish control protocols as allowed by Law 447 Beta. Before Ramirez could respond, space rippled again. 3 massive ships appeared bearing the markings of the 7th Fleet, the same fleet humans had been rescuing. Enforcement Fleet, stop your actions immediately. It was Commander Veradix's voice, coming through all communication channels. By the power of the emergency action rules, I am ordering you to stand down. You have no such power, Veradix, Zalthus said angrily. Your fleet was thought to be lost. The containment decision has been made by the Council. Then unmake it, came a new voice. On screens throughout both fleets appeared the face of Grand Admiral Zarelix himself. His 6 eyes blinked in sequence as he looked at the standoff. I have seen enough to make a direct ruling on this matter, the Grand Admiral said. What followed was a tense meeting held on the UEF Defender. Representatives from Earth, led by Ambassador Howard and General Ramirez, met with Concordat leaders including Grand Admiral Zarelix, Commander Veradix, and the unhappy Commander Zalthus. The humans refused to accept being treated as less important than other species in the galaxy. They showed proof of what they had accomplished, not just the rescue operation but Earth's recovery from the climate wars, the quick development of new technologies, and the uniting of a once divided planet. Your species breaks all our rules, Grand Admiral Zarelix finally said. You have level 2 technology, but show level 5 thinking abilities. You don't have space-bending science, yet you created working systems in just months. You have no mind-reading powers, yet show amazing understanding of others' needs. We're full of surprises, Howard said with a smile. It's kind of our thing. After hours of talking, they reached an agreement unlike any before. Earth would not be controlled or limited, but would instead get a special status as a protected innovation zone. Humans would be allowed to grow at their own pace while slowly joining galactic society. In return, humanity would share its unique problem-solving methods with the Concordat. As the meeting ended and the diplomatic ships prepared to leave, Grand Admiral Zarelix spoke privately with General Ramirez. I must ask you something that has been bothering me, he said. Why did your people work so hard to save aliens you had never met before? What did you hope to gain? Ramirez looked surprised by the question. We didn't do it to gain anything. We did it because it was the right thing to do. 8 million lives were at stake. Even at great risk to yourselves? Especially then, she said simply. That's when helping matters most. The Grand Admiral was quiet for a moment. This way of thinking is rare in the galaxy. Most species help others only when it benefits them. Then maybe the galaxy needs to learn from us as much as we need to learn from you, Ramirez suggested. As the last of the rescued aliens prepared for their journey home, and the first human ambassadors got ready to visit the Concordat's main worlds, Captain Wright found himself again face to face with Commander Veradix on the observation deck of the Horizon. Your people saved mine when the smart choice would have been to save yourselves, said Veradix. That decision will be remembered in our histories forever. Wright looked out at the stars. We couldn't just let 8 million people die no matter how different they looked from us. That feeling, Veradix replied, is exactly why the galaxy needs humanity. You don't calculate when you should feel. You don't analyze when you should act. It's not efficient, not logical, but it is wonderful. As human knowledge grew with the help of alien teachers, and as Concordat societies began to adopt human ways of thinking, one thing became clear. The rescue of a stranded fleet had not just saved alien lives, it had forever changed humanity's path among the stars. 3 years after the rescue, Earth had become the center of a new kind of galactic cooperation. The UEF Horizon, the ship that had made first contact, was now leading Earth's first official mission beyond the solar system. Captain Wright, still in command, stood on his bridge as the ship prepared to make its first spacefold jump. All systems. Ready, Captain? Reported Susan Carter, now his first officer. Wright nodded. Send the message to Earth, then begin the jump sequence. As the stars on the view screen began to blur, Wright thought about how far humanity had come in such a short time. From a planet just recovering from its own wars to a respected member of the galactic community. The horizon disappeared in a flash of light, leaving Earth behind but carrying humanity's greatest strengths forward: courage, compassion, and the stubborn refusal to accept that anything was truly impossible. Throughout the galaxy, species that had once looked down on humans now spoke with new respect about the beings from Earth, the creatures who had shown the most advanced civilizations in the universe that sometimes the greatest power wasn't technology or weapons or even knowledge. It was simply the willingness to help others no matter the cost. The end.